Hi, guys, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things for manifesting success with the divine. I am super excited for what we're going to do today. We're going to be talking about emotional alignment, and this is extremely key for when you're wanting to achieve goals, when you're wanting to attract goodness into your life, when you want to manifest anything. It's extremely important for us to be emotionally aligned because whatever we are feeling, we are manifesting. So, and whatever we are manifesting, that means we are creating or attracting into our reality. Okay. So, I've got some topics that I want to go over that are going to help us understand how to tell when you are emotionally in alignment versus when you're not, and how to get back into alignment so that you can attract what you want to attract. So, with that being said, I have a few questions that I want to ask to kind of help us get started. So, the first thing that I think is important for you guys to know is we need to know, what are your goals? What is it that you want to attract into your life? What do you want to experience, or what are you trying to manifest currently? This is important for us to know because the only reason we ever want things in our life, whether it's love or connection or material possessions or personal or professional experiences, the only reason we ever want anything is because of the way we believe it is going to make us feel. So it's very important to know what we want and to know how we think we will feel when we have that, because this is our indicator. If we are not already feeling these feelings, if we are not already doing things to create these feelings, and I've got some tools to do that for you today, but if we're not already feeling this way, if we're feeling the opposite of the way we want to be feeling, this means we are out of alignment. We are out of emotional alignment to our desires, and we will not be able to attract them. Okay. So, what are you wanting to manifest? What are you wanting to achieve? Why do you want to achieve it? What is it going to do for you? How is it going to make you feel? What is it going to relieve you of? How will you experience life if that is your reality? These are key questions we need to know the answer to. Now, once you are clear on what you want to manifest and why you're wanting to manifest it, like why is it going to make you feel a certain way, or why is it going to make you feel, what's it going to make you feel? Like, what do you believe it's going to make you feel? And once you're clear on that, then you need to do some reflection. This is when you go into kind of reflect and contemplate to figure out what's going on internally, mentally and emotionally, or externally. What are some things going on externally or internally that are not creating this experience for you today, right? So what are the thoughts that are not producing those feelings of joy, excitement, freedom, fulfillment, whatever it is that the manifestation you think, whatever you think the manifestation is going to make you feel, what's going on in your life today that's not making you feel that way already, right? So there might be thoughts. You might experience a certain emotion a lot. You might, and this is just from my experience, you might get easily frustrated or annoyed, or you might get easily down or sad, or these feelings of not being loved, or, and which underneath that annoyance and frustration is typically sadness and some form of guilt or shame or unloved energy, whatever it is. There's a misconnection or however it is. So if you are feeling those feelings, these need to be, we need to be aware of what those thoughts that are creating the unaligned feelings, what are you thinking? And then what are the emotions that keep coming up, right? If someone makes you mad, what keeps getting triggered? Is it anger? Is it rage? Is it frustration? Is it depression? Is it sadness? Is it guilt? Is it shame? What's coming up, right? These are the unaligned emotions, right? And when I say unaligned, it doesn't mean they are bad, but they're not aligned to your desired vision of your reality. So if you are feeling feelings and thinking thoughts that are not aligned to your desired reality, then you're not attracting your desired reality. You are attracting more of the thoughts and the feelings that you are producing, because it is the frequency that you are putting out, and like attracts like in the law of attraction. So whatever you are like, you will attract more of. Okay. So that is the test. These are the questions you can ask yourself to figure out, am I in alignment with my desired vision, or am I actually repelling it? Right. So these are good questions to kind of reflect on to help you get an idea of whether you're in alignment or not. So if you're like, no, I've created it, great. Then you're in alignment. It's coming to you. Now you're in the receiving portion of the manifestation. You've got to sit back and trust that it's on its way. If you are thinking, gosh, I'm not in alignment, my thoughts and my feelings are not aligned to the desired vision, I'm not feeling this way at all, that's why I want it so bad, right? Like, and that creates that desperate energy, that creates that hustle mentality of, I've got to get it, I'm going to show up, I'm going to overwork, I'm going to make this happen. And we're creating more of those feelings of frustration and sadness, and we're all we're doing is we're actually creating more and more and more separation between us and what we want when we do that. Okay, so I've got a few things that I teach and I do for myself that are what help me maintain and keep myself in alignment. And I say this because you're not always going to be in alignment. You know, the art of Taoism is as above, so below. You won't know if you're in alignment. You would never know if you were in alignment if you didn't have moments of misalignment. Okay, so there's going to be moments, and you know, there's actually a show I was watching with my fiance on Netflix about focus. Okay, how we have become so obsessed with the fact of whether we can or cannot focus. And the truth of the matter is, the brain has to have moments of being unfocused in order for it to be able to thrive in a hyper focused or in a healthy focused way. There has to be a balance between everything. So this doesn't mean that just because you come out of alignment every once in a while, you're not attracting what you want to attract. But let the moments of misalignment be your guide to, okay, I need to go back to my exercises. I need to pull out these tools. I need to rest. I need to rejuvenate. I need to do whatever, right? Like, these moments of misalignment are not killing your dream. Okay. So don't expect just because you've got these exercises to never be misaligned, because that's not the case. Those are the moments where you're like, okay, I need to spend a little bit more time with my visualization. Okay, I need to go back to my meditation. I need to talk to the universe. I need to do these exercises. Or I need to just chill out. I need to step back. I need to walk away. I need to stop thinking about what I am trying to attract, because usually speaking, here's the thing. Depression, what we found, and this is scientifically speaking, what we find is if we're feeling depressed, it's because we're generally thinking about something we've messed up in the past. If we're feeling anxious, it's because we are too stuck on what's going to happen next in the future, right? So if we are feeling depressed or anxious and we're creating these feelings that are unaligned to the desired vision, let it be your insinuation to pull out your tools and to step back and to stop thinking about the manifestation, because you're either thinking about what went wrong or you're thinking about what could go wrong. Yeah. And that's what's making you misaligned. And that's okay. Just let it be your trigger to go spend some more time with the universe or with yourself in peace and rest and rejuvenation. Okay. So some of the tools that have been pivotal for me, number one is gratitude. So when I say gratitude, that can maybe sound kind of basic, but if you answered those first questions when I first started about what do you want, how will you feel if you have that, and what's going on in your life right now that's keeping you from feeling it. So if you think about the things going on internally and externally, right? So internally could be insecurities, body image, inner child healing, or, childhood issues, mother wounds, father wounds. Internally, that's what we could have cycling, keeping us from feeling good, right? Or thinking about how successful we are in our careers, or how far behind we are, or this, that, and the other thing, right? Creating that depression, anxiety swing, right? So when we figure out what's going on internally that we're so unhappy with, right? We're so unhappy with our past. We're so scared of our future, right? These thoughts and these emotions internally, we need to have an audit of. We need to kind of make a list. We need to journal about them. Don't be afraid to write those down, because I get it. You know, I know how scary it can be, and I know how hesitant some people can be when they're in this art of manifestation. They're like, if I write these things down, then I'm manifesting it. No, actually, the opposite is going to be true. If you write these things down that are subconsciously repeating internally, and you work through them and you create a new perspective and a new relationship to those things, you will not be manifesting anything bad. You are actually going to align those things that are creating the misalignment. And then now you can actually be aligned to your desired future. So you're actually only going to hurt yourself if you avoid writing these things down, if you avoid trying to create a new relationship with those thoughts and feelings. Okay. So when you write those things down, gratitude can be extremely helpful in this practice. Okay. So I don't mean gratitude. So a lot of people, I think, whenever they think of gratitude, they think, I just need to be grateful for what I have. And I don't think that they get the deeper message behind that, because you have depression, you have anxiety. We all do. We're human. Okay. You have stress, you have this, you have that. We all do. But we like some things about the human experience, and we don't like some things about the human experience. So gratitude, the key for gratitude, and what's been the transformative key in gratitude for me and my clients, and Lauren can attest to this, is being very clear on what you don't like about your life, the human experience, what's happening internally or externally around you that you can't stand, that you have started to hate, that you are resenting, that you are hiding from. Make a list of those things, and then one by one, use gratitude. Okay, you hate this, you're complaining about this, but what can you love about it instead? Is it trying to teach you anything? And I tell you, I have done this to heal my relationship with my body. Just as an example, it's one of the things it's coming up to me right now. And I remember one of the things that I hated is my excess weight, right? Or being at a weight that I'm not happy with. And using this gratitude practice really transformed my idea of what excess weight was, because I started to ask myself questions like, why is this excess weight loving me? Why is it supporting me? Why is it trying to help me? What is good about this excess weight? I'm always focused on what sucks about it. But if I start to ask myself, what's good about it? I start to see, I eat. I've created this excess weight because I didn't have what I needed from my mom. This started a long time ago, right? And your answer is going to be different. But now, once I start digging into that story behind the excess weight, what happens is I start to see how food and piling on excess weight was actually the mom that I never had. And I start to see how it was my nurturing defense mechanism because I wasn't receiving what I needed as a child. And so then I can start to make a decision. I'm going to nurture myself differently so that I can be healthy, so that I can stop using food as a parent, food as a nurturer, right? But I didn't change that habit. I didn't change that pattern, that toxic pattern that was putting me into, and see, I hate calling it toxic, because when you know the truth behind it, and when you take a moment to see, why could you be grateful for this thing that's driving you crazy or making people make fun of you or bully you or whatever the thing is, they're shutting you out because of it. What's actually happening behind their gratitude is the key to finding that. And then the same for mastering your thoughts. Okay. There's exercises that you can do for limitations. Okay. So sometimes we have limitations, and limitations are those moments where we say, I struggle with this, or I can't do this, or I don't know about that. Those are the limitations, because we're starting to put ourselves in a box of we're only capable of this much, right? We're not capable of all of it. We're capable of just this part. right? So we put ourselves into this box and we start to limit our capacity for what we're able to do in the real world. Before I was a meditator, I told myself I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't focus. I can't sit here and do it. And I started to change it. And I started to ask myself, well, what if I can? And something beautiful happened. I opened up space for capability. So I started to catch myself when I would say, oh, I'm not going to be able to do that, or I struggle with that, or I can't do this. And I rewrote it. And I didn't say, yes, I can. I didn't do this fake ass affirmation telling me I could do it. I just asked the question, what if I could? What if? Right? And that let me have space to figure that out, to take some time to figure it out. And I'll tell you another story with that situation. I have a tattoo on my arm of this flower, and I love this flower, and it's called a chrysanthemum. I would not know what this flower was called had I stayed limited, because I used to tell people, so I was getting the tattoo. I saw the tattoo. I was like, look, I want this flower. I don't know what this flower is, but I like it. And my tattoo artist was like, it's a chrysanthemum. I said, oh, no, don't bother telling me. I'm not going to remember. And I caught myself. Telling myself I wasn't capable of remembering information. I caught myself telling myself I wasn't capable of retaining knowledge. And I said, no, actually, what's it called again? It's a chrysanthemum. And I said, I will remember that. I will know this tattoo that's on my body. I will be able to tell people. I will retain this knowledge. And here I am. It's 4 years later. I don't know how many years it's been. I know exactly what tattoo this is. I know exactly what flower it is. And it's all because I decided to catch myself telling myself that I wasn't capable of retaining it. And I made the switch. And I just gave myself a chance. I said, well, maybe I can. Or what if I could? And you're just creating the space to give yourself the chance to make it happen. And you will blow your freaking mind when you create this space, and you will see, oh my God, I'm doing things that I never thought I was capable of doing. And now you're aligning. You're aligning to, because here's the thing, that desired vision, you're going to have to be capable. You're going to have to be able to take action. You're going to have to be doing all the things that you think you can't do to achieve that vision. And it's one little thing at a time. It can be what I believe that tattoo experience for me of I can't retain this information, turning it into maybe I can, and doing it. What that did for me is what I'm doing right now. I'm not reading from a script. I've retained all of this information because it is so important to me and because I love it and I have passion for it. And yeah, I wrote down a couple of notes because these are the points that I wanted to make, but this is not a script. This is just me talking out of retained information. I can become a public speaker. I can have podcasts. I can go live. I can talk in front of people about these topics because I've retained so much information, so much know-how. And that was one of the first steps that I took to be able to do that. That was so small. That was so small, but it was one of the first times that I ever took a moment to decide I was capable of retaining information that mattered. And so it's important. You never know what little decision you could make today that's going to impact your success in the future. So just keeping those things in mind. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about before I hand it over to Lauren is emotional expression. We can suppress our emotions. We can repress them into our chakras, into our body, into spaces and crevices of our mind, and we can become cluttered with these emotions. So if you are noticing that your boyfriend or your kid or your dog or your mom or whoever and their neighbors are triggering you often, and you're noticing that, right? If you're noticing you're getting easily frustrated at work or wherever you're at in your surroundings, take some time to notice, well, what's coming up? It's probably frustration, annoyance, anger. Okay. Go in. When I became a meditation instructor, what they taught us is to create a character for these emotions. Okay. So whatever that looks like, maybe you guys, something that helps that I teach my clients as a reference point for this lesson is to watch the kid movie Inside Out. So there's this little girl and she's got all of her emotions in her mind and they're little characters. There's a character for joy, anger, disgust. And so you are no different. Create characters for your emotions, particularly the ones that are suppressed, that come up and they feel involuntary. And then also the emotions you want to create more of, right? So if anger feels involuntary sometimes and you're blowing up on your dog or your daughter or your office or yourself a lot, you want to create a relationship to anger. So build a character for anger. For me, it doesn't have to be complex. It can be a make-believe character. Or for me, what I do is I literally just see myself, but in that state of being. So I see myself happy or I see myself raging, right? I know what I look like. I've seen myself in the mirror whenever I do that stuff. So that's what I see. That's my characters. It's just me with that facial expression. So it can be as simple as making it yourself. Or I've had some clients create little, I remember I had one client so cute. Her angry monster was kind of like, he looked like Sully from Monsters Inc. He was angry, the angry monster, right? So I like it, right? It's whatever comes to you. It could be a character. It could just be you. It's up to you. That's your imagination. Let it go wild, right? Mm-hmm. Create these characters for your emotions and then sit with them. The first time I sat with anger, she was pissed. She was throwing tantrums. She was like trying to punch me and fight me. You have to sit there. When you go meet that person, you have to sit there without judgment. And you say, I'm here. I see you for the first time. And you let them go crazy. You let them go crazy. And you're doing this in your mind. So of course, if you're confronting anger, even though there's a part of you that's being still and being accepting of the anger, you're also going to feel that anger. So your heart might start beating fast. You might start breathing hard. You might want to scream, right? And then the next time you meet sadness, you might cry for the whole 30 minutes that you're standing in front of sadness because you could just feel it. You know what you're doing? You are stepping into your empathetic abilities. When you face your emotions from a place of acceptance and non-judgment. So there's two parts of you going on in your mind. A part of you that's just observing without judgment. And then the part of you that is being there for that emotion. And that emotion, you start to feel it. You feel it. And that's expressive. When you start crying or when you start breathing hard and wanting to scream, that's okay. You're safe. Don't be afraid of that intensity. It's only so intense because you've avoided it for so long. And if you keep avoiding it, it will keep you stuck where you are. Don't be afraid to let it be intense. Don't be afraid. And this is where mentors can, you know what I'm saying? I do a lot of this work on my own, but I've had a lot of clients who struggle with doing that on their own, and they feel safer to let it be intense when they know they're in a safe environment, and I hold that space for them. And then once they do it a couple of times with me, then they feel safer to do it in between our sessions. And they build a habit mastery of not suppressing and expressing. Okay. So these are the things. So gratitude, mastering your thoughts, notice the I can'ts and say, what if I can? Give yourself the chance, give yourself the space. You never know what it's going to open up for you. And then practice emotional expression, acceptance and expression. Let it be intense. Get support if you need it. You do not have to do this alone. That's why I believe I'm here, right? I am here for anyone who is ready to do this and wants support and wants to be held in a safe space to do it, right? You don't have to do this alone. I'm not the only one who can create these spaces. That's what we're here for. We're here because we know how important this work is and we know what you're capable of achieving. And if you do these things, you're going to create a whole different experience in this life. Well, I hope everything that I've gone over with you guys today has been extremely valuable and helpful so far. And something I want to offer out to anybody who's here, and I will post the link in the description below, is if you would like to figure out what might be keeping you from being in alignment with your desired vision. I do these free 15-minute manifesting audits, and we discover exactly that. We figure out what shifts can be made to optimize your manifesting process and how to make them exactly. So we'll figure out what might be keeping you misaligned and how to bring yourself back into alignment for you personally. So I would love to experience that call with you. So if you feel called to book your manifesting audit, the link will be in the description box below. And I hope, again, all of these tools that you guys received today from this video is helpful. And I will see you guys in the next video.